Are we ready?
Please, Your Excellency, will commence with the national anthem. Gentlemen of the press, will go straight to a broadcast by His Excellency the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State. Your Excellency, sir.
Gentlemen of the press, good evening. The state of our nation has made it mandatory that the governors of Southeast and our leaders frequently engage in in meetings and discussions and dialogue to find a lasting solution to the situation we have all found ourselves. And today, some leaders and governors of Southeast met with some selected youths. And this meeting, very strategic. It afforded us the opportunity to ask the youths of Southeast, what do you want? I want to report that we had very useful discussion. I'm going to read out the demands of the youths and the answers we have given to them. They requested us to table these demands to Mr. President, which we accepted to do. But we also offered some answers to some of the issues raised, and they promised that the agitation, the threats, public disorder, protest would end by the reason of the presentation of the demands, and we give the federal government the opportunity to look into them. And for me, I think this is very strategic, and that is what Mr. President, demanded, that you made your point, your voice. Let me use the word of Mr. President. Your voice has been heard and very loud. And I believe that Mr. President generally has taken steps to address the problems as demanded by the youth. There is no reasonable person in this country that did not stand with the youths when they were doing their peaceful End SARS protest. But when it was hijacked by hoodlums, the nation had to stand with Mr. President and governors to condemn it, and with the leaders of this country. So the leaders of the Southeast geopolitical zone acknowledge with great pain the ugly events that have enveloped our nation since the last couple of days. We are particularly disturbed over the loss of lives, especially those of our youth and law enforcement officers across the country. Again and again condemn the shooting at the Lekki, as there was no destruction as at the time of the shooting, and there was no directive from the quarters that should be for the shooting to take place. We will continue to call for accelerated investigation of the unwarranted shooting so that the perpetrators will be openly brought to book. We are equally very pained by the destruction of critical infrastructure, public and private institutions and businesses. Most importantly, we are deeply concerned and pained by the erosion of the mutual trust between the ethnic nationalities across the country, which has widened and greatly threatened our national unity and cohesion, which I want to be very grateful to most leaders of this country. They are addressing. There's no region that has not, done their meetings to address these issues, and we are building again and again mutual trust, love, and of course, a fresh pledge in the oneness and indivisible Nigeria. Consequent to the above, and with a view to finding lasting peace and an end to the crisis that has engulfed the nation, especially in Southeast, the governors and their leaders of the region have met with the representatives of the youth of the Southeast, who made their demands from the federal government with a strong commitment to an immediate cessation of further protests and destruction of public and private property. One is complete dredging of the River Niger. The youths are requesting that the federal government should complete the dredging of the River Niger. The youths of the Southeast are grateful to the federal government for the upgrading of facilities at Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, through an improved runway and the installation of modern navigational equipment. The youths have demanded that the remaining works at the airport be expeditiously completed, and the aviation ministry should, as a matter of urgency, make the airport truly international by approving the operation of airlines like British Airways, Emirates, Qatar Airways, Air France, Delta, Lufthansa. For us leaders, we remain very grateful to Mr. President, Minister of Aviation, for their quick intervention in that international airport. The works they have done there is quite commendable, and we remain grateful to Mr. President. The demand of the youth for the completion of work over there, I can assure that work is already going there, and Mr. President did promise, and the Honorable Minister of Aviation is also carrying that out. I will join the youth to plead that within the powers of the Honorable Minister of Aviation, that this demand of the youth, they want to see British Airways, Emirates, Qatar, Air France, Delta Airlines, Lufthansa, etc. I support them, and I plead, even if not all, 2 or 3 of that, we assist us as people that are inclined to commerce. The youths are grateful to the federal government the progress of the work on the second Niger Bridge. They, however, demand an update on the work and specific completion timelines. Unfortunately, we lost Abakari, who was briefing the Southeast governors every week. But I can say that our son, the MD CEO of National Soviet Investment Authority, is also the founder, and he once in a while sends messages to me to update. But it's a project we should remain very grateful to Mr. President. It's the only president that has made it a reality and is committed to completing that project before the end of his tenure. So we assure the youth that the second Niger Bridge is on course and they will be completed. But this is the demand of the youth. The youth also task the governors of Southeast to engage critical stakeholders in the ongoing protests in the respective states and local security architecture. I already had stakeholders meeting today, and we've agreed that it's important to let the youth be part of our budgeting. Some of the this omnibus, extensive and limitless demands on governors and the federal government is because we don't really truly let the youth and the public know what we are passing through. If, for example, what is coming to the state government is 3 billion a month, you remove salary in the presence of everybody and you put the other one on table. and then let the youths and stakeholders make their choices. So that at the end of the day, people will know that if roads are not built, it's because we are doing empowerment. You know, if empowerment is not done, it's because we are building industries, and so on and so forth. It's not possible to do everything once. But that is the mind of an average Nigerian, that everything be done once. So I believe strongly that if we bring, you know, our budget on the table and involve the youth, involve the critical stakeholders, you know, that people will begin to understand, and there will be opportunity for us to evaluate, you know, whatever we are doing openly. And so we promise that this will be done. The youth also demand massive rehabilitation of the federal roads in the southeast, especially Enugu-Onitsha Highway, Enugu-Port Harcourt Highway, Umuahia-Ikote-Ekpene Highway, Ikote-Ekpene-Aba Highway, Enugu-Abakaliki Highway, Abo-Owerri Road, Umuahia-Arochukwu, Abakaliki-Ogoja Road, Abakaliki-Afikpo Road, Uturu-Ishagu-Nguzu Eda Road, Owerri-Port Harcourt Road. This is the demands of the youth. And of course, I can say that federal government is already working on some of them. Sometimes problems will be that of the contractors. But we must also know that the federal government is not federal government for Southeast alone. So if all these things are not done once, even though I'm tabling it to the federal government, but it does not mean that the demands are not met. But they're on table, and gradually I believe that they will be done. These are the demands of the youth. And I think these youth are very reasonable in the demands. And what they brought to the table is that all protest, all divisive words, all destructive tendency will be, will be stopped, immediately. I promise them that I'm going to take these demands to Mr. President, and I want to believe that they will reciprocate from this night, and the cessation of hostilities in every part of Southeast and anywhere that are involved in the country will cease. We have directed our people everywhere in the country and outside the country to stop protest. Because there are people that are also making efforts to label this thing, the Igbo affair. We refuse to accept that. And I'm happy with what the northern governors are doing. I'm happy with what the western governors are doing, the south-south governors all over the country. I thank them so much. I thank Mr. President, who is reinforcing our security. I thank him so much. It shows that he's truly our father, and he wants this country to remain united. I know the youths also demanded that the last demand, I forgot that the last when this IG, who is doing tremendously very well, at the time of his retirement, any time before the end of Mr. President administration, that the Southeast should be given, their son or daughter should be given an opportunity to also occupy the position. This they say I should also ask Mr. President, so that they will also feel belong. This we will also take to Mr. President. So I believe strongly that we've struck the iron while it is very, very hot. And within this week, we'll be engaging an enlarged stakeholders meeting where our ministers and other stakeholders will join us in a physical meeting in Enugu, so that we can further the gains of this, our interaction with the youths. Thank you.
Please.
States.
Please, you can tell us your name.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Amechi Odo. Sir, my media is Radio Nigeria. My question is of two tranches. Sir, you did not mention the umbrella under which this youth discussed with you. And again,
Southeast youths.
Thank you, sir.
There are many umbrellas, then we cannot say A, B, C, D. So they brought themselves together and, came to discuss with us.
Thank you, sir. So my second question is, as a newsman, I've been following trends in this part of the country. And I know that one of the things that is rattling our people is the purported marginalization, especially when it comes to national leadership. I wonder why this youth did not talk about how we will have political restructuring so that Southeast can produce the leader of this country. I'm just thinking wide. Thank you.
Well, you have to know that these are people who've been asking for, to secede. They have been asking, they want a country of their own. And so they may not have been asking for two things. Now they have started with these demands. It's a great departure and, an offer for, oneness and unity. It means they have been integrated. So from there, we begin to talk about, an opportunity. And I think it is time, it is ripe for Southeast to be allowed to rule the country. I think it's a legitimate demand, and I think a lot of leaders in this country are already thinking of that. We are getting more sophisticated every day. It's difficult for any section of this country to come and lord it over others. And I think that the Igbo man is found everywhere in this country and beyond. So Igbo man is a bridge builder, and I believe strongly that together we are stronger. So I'm sure their spirit is there.
Your Excellency, my name is Benjamin Wore. I represent this day. Even though I know that the protesters are not talking about bad governance in Ebonyi State, but okay. Even though I know that the protesters are not talking about bad governance in Ebonyi State, what happened in the Oba of Benin's residence has also thrown up another protest or agenda that leaders had also hoarded the palliative. And even in other local platforms, they have also used Ebonyi as another contact address. I wouldn't know, Your Excellency, even though I know, but that Ebonyi State duly shared the palliative. But this is a platform where I think you have to douse that tension as it concerns the palliative.
Thank you.
Secondly, Your Excellency, we also gathered from other neighboring states there are shootings going on following the directive of the IG that police should return normalcy no matter what it happens. I wouldn't know whether the youths, which you have also highlighted their positions to the federal government, also called for ceasefire. I don't know what is happening because we learned that there are shootings going on around our neighboring state. Ebonyi State is not exempt, sir.
Well, allow anybody who wants to ask questions, please. I'm here for them. Don't censor it. Number one, palliatives. You see, the social media has destroyed us. Some of this palliative, they say that the people are hoarding, were brought just 7 days ago by Kakovit. You have to find out what the MD CEO of First Bank said. He said that people are just not being honest. The Kakovit brought these things and said, don't distribute. I'm the only one who disobeyed them. Don't distribute until we have come to commission it. I said, why do you need to come and commission it? How much did you bring? All those things were people obeying the Kakovit people, Dangote group. And then they also bought. What did they bring? We got 1,800 bags of 50 kg rice from federal government. Is that what any governor is going to sell? And then we got some Indomie and the gari and the beans. We spent 3 billion to buy palliative for our people. We shared palliative in all the world, in all the polling units. We called all the political parties. They contributed committee members. We called the clergy. We called the government officials. Everybody went to their polling unit to distribute to at least 200, indigent people in each polling unit. Is that what this thing? Because there are certain things that you see in social media, you attack it by yourself. Because you are here, you know the truth. There is no section, whether big or small, that we did not reach, including the press during the situation. You go chop clean mouth. When people talk, so the traditional rulers are custodians of the people. So anywhere you see rice, it becomes palliative. Who brought the palliative? Who brought the palliatives? So the traditional ruler has no money to buy rice to distribute to his subjects. It's act of wickedness. How do you expect that somebody like El-Rufai will want to rebag the rice given to him to sell? He's been discourteous. He's been discourteous. And so, okay, they are looting the so-called palliative. They have broken into, private, warehouses, like in Gwagwarada, looting people's property. Is it protest? You asking me about shooting. Where else in this world do you allow security agencies to be killed? All the NSAS people and the other groups protesting have said, look, if anybody goes to loot, we didn't send the person. Even here in Ebonyi State on Tuesday, people naked were entering houses with knives and their guns and robbing people. Whom are you robbing? The same poor people you say you are protesting to protect. So the press should rise up to condemn this act of hooliganism. There is no any other country where the president will exercise the level of patience. Soldiers have been killed. Police people have been killed. Police stations have been burnt. We condemn the people shooting very peaceful protesters. We condemn it. Every leader in this country has condemned it. But we should not, be glorifying hooligans. People who came out of prisons, they let the prisons open. Who will suffer it is still the poor people who have no security. If God did not help us to secure the prison, possibly hardened criminals, those who have killed, you go and let them out. They will continue to kill. They will continue to terrorize you. I don't know what the society wants. You are letting prisoners out. You are hailing them. Hey. It's still you they will come after. You are destroying a bus stop. Who are using it? Not the governors, not the ministers. It's still you. People have the effrontery to destroy Zeke's status. What do you think is that? You are going to rob banks. Is it still protesting? We have to call evil. You have to go as journalists, go and find out the rule of engagement of security people. Find out the rule of engagement. But I commend the president, I commend the IG, I commend the chief of army staff. They have exercised a lot of restraints and patience. So we civilians, we should not provoke them further. Where do you see where a man will have guns and you are coming to collect the guns to kill him? What do you want him to do? So that's why we've been shouting. Our people don't join the protest. Enough is enough, and they have needed to my advice. But let nobody in their respective states, when your people are not happy with you, or they go to break your places, you say it's the bush. We don't accept that. We don't accept that.
Thank you, Excellency. My name is Peter Okutu. I work with Vanguard newspapers. My question is very simple. We are aware that there's a directive for I would like to know if the curfew in the states have been relaxed, because we are aware that banks have been given directive to resume activities by Monday, and also by extension, will schools commence on Monday too? Thank you.
The curfew is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it has nothing to do with the banking hours or school hours. So the curfew is still in place. If you have problem how to get home after this, you let Commissioner of Information know. Schools are on. Schools are on. I've asked all the youths to come out to defend their locality. Schools are on. Those who destroyed our property are not from Ebonyi State, and they will not let them in again.
Okay, sir. I'm Chukwuemeka Opera. I'm editor with News Agency of Nigeria now. I want to know the criteria for the selection of these youths, because we know the youths that attended. I want to know whether those that actually destroyed, like the hoodlums, whether they.
Do you know them?
Sir, they are youths, sir. They are youths, and
you say whether those that were destroying things, whether
yes,
they
the hoodlums, whether they were presented to air their grievances.
Do you know them?
Sir, they are youths, and they have their say, sir.
I'm asking, do you know them? Are
Sir,
you saying all the youths were part of the destruction?
No, sir.
Then
But,
if you know them, then you know that you had given their names to me and they were represented.
okay, secondly, sir, I want to know, during the course of the interruption, I want to know whether there were punitive measures stipulated for the politicians who caused the grievances, agitations in the first place, or will it still continue to be business as usual?
You're part of them. Because when we give you money to share to your colleagues, you eat it alone. That's how it starts. That's how it starts. So there will be punitive measures against you. That's why I give you money in the public, so that you go far where I will not see you to fight. So it starts with you. Change starts. And I continue to say that if you're a youth and you are giving money of 20 people, you put it in your pocket, you are worse than the leaders who are governors and ministers, whom you accuse of such. You know, this youth, tomorrow you will become an elder. You know, a little sleep and a little slumber, we go to poverty. So people think that they will permanently be youth. There are people that are 60 years, where there is a youth leadership, they go and grab it and say youth leader. You know. So if you see that, deceiving themselves, because they have born their time and they didn't know when the day broke. Yes, next one.
Excellency, I am Ogochukwu Anioke, the Nation newspaper. Sir,
Did they burn your place?
No, sir.
You see them now? You see the fake news? No. Go ahead and now.
No, well, they looted part of it, but the office building itself wasn't burnt, but they burnt some cars.
Some cars?
Yes.
Oh, no man, Christian, me, no get.
Anyway.
Oh, no, we're Lagos.
Okay, sir. My question is on, you talked about the use, directing stoppage of protest, any further protest. I wouldn't know if IPOP was kind of, although they are proscribed, I wouldn't know if they were carried along in this, because today.
If you say they were prescribed, I don't want to mention them.
Today, why I'm asking is today they issued a statement calling for continuations to clean up tomorrow, starting from tomorrow, across all the states in the southeast and south-south.
There will be no clean up in Ebonyi. We have already cleaned our own. And I think after this broadcast, there will be no further cleanup. I've directed all the youths that no further engagement, leave the streets and go away. Yeah.
Good evening, His Excellency. My name is Edward Nachi. I represent the Punch. Sir, the clamor for the Southeast presidency is gathering momentum. Everybody seems to be talking about it. If any of these parties offers you the ticket to run, would you run?
I don't know. I don't know. I said, in all honesty, the kind of nation we have now is something you need to think twice before you engage. This is a thankless job. This is a job that where everybody is classified as a thief. I think there must be a new level of engagement, a new process of engagement. Our society needs a lot of understanding. You know, maybe because of the way we manage the resources. In London, there are needs. There are needs. In America, there are needs. There are unemployment level. You know, but there is awareness. The leaders are transparent so that the masses are aware of what has come in, what is being used for. The agitation they have there is to leave this one and do this one. That's the kind of thing you hear. People are shaved in their, their heads are shaved in the absence. You know, it is not correct. You know, so part that these things were burnt in Ebonyi, I was so discouraged because the question I asked myself, what is it that the society wants? Some people were sending me text messages for financial assistance. It has always been there. I will just put NSAS, NSAS, NSAS. You know, because how far can I go by reaching to every individual? In your heart. What the next person is saying, what are you saying? The society permits, the society encourages corrupt leadership. The society does not allow you to. People want me to do birthday, burial, hospital bill, and all those stuff. If you level of our debt, the level of our disunity, the suspicion, they say that those who want to steal are more than those who are stealing. If you check the amount of war you will wage on stakeholders who have socketed their pipes, they don't want you to terminate it, and they will fight you. It's not something that anybody is going to. President. Remember the story of, Saul, why thou persecuted thou me? Who art thou, Lord, that I persecute? He already knew in the spirit that is the Lord. Say now, I'm going to send you to your people, Gentiles. I'll show you how much you are going to suffer for my name's sake. It was the Lord speaking. The Lord sends you. Presence doesn't go with.
Okay, Your Excellency, my name is Obi Nobone. I work with Leadership Newspapers. Your Excellency, like you said, there have been a lot of fake news in the social media. And there is this apprehension. You know, we've been in the streets, we've been listening to parents, and there seems to be apprehension. They are not sure of their children going to school tomorrow, following reports of some of these people posting in the social media that the hostility will continue in the Southeast. So, Your Excellency, I want you to assure parents and pupils that they will be safe while attending school tomorrow, because some parents say that they may not be able to allow their children to continue going to school.
I don't think the madness has gotten to level of killing school children. I think it's beautiful infrastructure that. So I assure that there will be no problem in Southeast. This is a surprise at the agreement. There are also mafias. Do everything to safeguard. Don't go and write that governor. So we are sure that there will be peace tomorrow. Visiting the university. Try to explain to the union. Maybe I leave it all by I pay 40% of the salary of 40%. If they make sacrifice of what I give them, it means that I pay 50% of their salary. And if you cannot run the university with the school fee, with that, I offered, I say, give me back the university. We hire and fire. But you don't know what I'm passing through. I give you 50% or 5% of my total earnings. Only your institution, 5% of my total earnings. Don't forget that my total is subjected to 13.5% tax. So about 20% is already out if you ask the College of Education. So if I get 30 billion in a year, 20% of it is around 7.2 billion. Running with 28, so to say. So let us reason together. God Almighty says in the book of Isaiah, let us reason together. Bring your strong points that may be just. When Job, like some of us, was darkening counsel with us, says, who is that darkens counsel? Say, Job, say, tie your loins like a man. You know where darkness resides. When I lay the foundation of the world, do you know where the four pillars are? The wind comes and goes. Do you know where it comes from and where it goes? It was Job that was making mouth like some of us. Oh God. I heard you by the hearing of the ear, but paint of dust. That's what a lot of us do. You can't just talk is cheap. People say they want to be governor. Can you explain how much the state government is getting? You say you want to do EBBC. Can you explain how you do it? You speak of what you do not know. You have no idea. And this is what heightens tension in the society. Because governor, you say you will do this, you will do this, you do that. You are not aware of the resources available. There is no focus to know what will happen tomorrow. And you come, you begin to give excuse. The people, the society doesn't want excuse. So this is my destiny. And did I prescribe ASU in my destiny? And that's, yes, I did. Am I the first to do it? No. Oge has done it. And they went to Supreme Court and won. So I'm relying on that judgment. Will my name be in the social media? Yes. Name has been there since. It's going to be there until pull out of politics. The only thing is that don't touch my office. Just leave the thing. Do every other thing. So you can castigate me. You can do anything. It's not a problem. The important thing is the conscience. It's God who said, you know, people behave as if governors have all the money packed. And just that they don't want to do it. It's all opportunity cost. You do this, you will not be able to do this. That's the way it is. If we're able to pay salary next month, it will be a thing to praise God very seriously. Who wants to know? Nobody wants to know. Civil servant, you must pay him salary. Do you know that we have limit to borrowing, even though I have not borrowed? But even if a governor wants to borrow, you can only borrow 20% of your IGR. Many of you, they pay IGR, even tax. I know they pay tax, meaning that you are not good citizens. So, it's a very tough time. You must appreciate that. Very tough phase. I think it's pointing towards the end of the age. Go back to the Bible and see what that God's wickedness is increasing. Evil is increasing. Betrayal is on the rise. Men being lovers of themselves, doing wicked things. Why would somebody destroy the decoration? Why would somebody burn the very beautiful police station? What is has got to do? I think he says bad government. Is decorative life bad government? Is the infrastructure bad government? It's wickedness. People are hailing. They are looting government in warehouses. They are going to private one. Small time, it will reach to you people. I know their numbers. I give you money. I would let them know that you have something going on with. They just come and knock. Oh, who is there? Let us condemn evil. Let us rise up and say no. Let us have a better society. Let us have resentment to leaders, that we can engage them. Good evening. God bless you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Please, that's the end of it. Your Excellency, like an apostle you are, you have spoken. Like a father you are, you have spoken. We'll be rounding it off with your kind permission with the national anthem. Please, national anthem.
State wildlife broadcast by engineer Dr. David Wezu Mahi.
Starts with when you are uploading this thing in the social media, please remove the two national
Executive Governor
It is only the
of Ebonyi State
national anthem before.
and Chairman Southeast Governors Forum. The live broadcast took place at the Presidential Lodge, Old Government House, Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. And that's how we have come to the end of the live coverage of this very important briefing. On behalf of the Director General of EBBC, Engineer Timothy Mwachi, who has been working around the clock to ensure that we bring you a history broadcast, the Director Radio Service Directorate of EBBC, Comrade Chukwuma Onwe.
So happy with you.
Other members of management and staff of EBBC, members of the OB crew led by Engineer Emmanuel Ekwe, Ndubisi Ogodo, Uche Michael Eze, Promise Uka, Ibiam Okmani, Johnson Oji Osondo Ngota, my colleague Sandra Chuko. My name is Emenike Ogalago. Thanking you for being part of the broadcast. And I hand you over to my colleague at our live studio at Inkaliki Road, Abakaliki, for the continuation of our programs for tonight. Good evening and God bless you. Bye for now.